To graph this hyperbola, we need to find our vertices, our foci, and also our asymptote lines. So to do that, the first thing that I would do is I'd make this x squared over 1. Now, with a hyperbola, a always comes first. So my a will be the square root of 1, which is 1, and my b will be the square root of 4, which is 2. Now to find c, which will help us get our foci, we need to solve the equation c squared equals a squared plus b squared. And if we plug in our numbers, we will get c squared is equal to 1 plus 4, or c squared equals 5. Then we will have c is equal to plus or minus the square root of 5 when we use the square root property. Now since the foci lie along the transverse axis like our vertices, we know that our foci will be negative square root of 5, 0, and square root of 5, 0. And also our vertices, which will be a comma 0 and negative a comma 0, we'll get 1, 0 and negative 1, 0. Now these two other points here we get from b. We do 0, b and 0, negative b. And these 2 points will help us make our box, which will also help us graph our asymptote lines and our hyperbola. Now our asymptote lines come from the equation y is equal to plus or minus b over a x. And if we simplify that, we would get y is equal to plus or minus 2x. Now, let's plug all of this information into our graph and see what our graph looks like. On our graph, we see our vertices of negative 1, 0, and 1, 0. We also see our foci, or focus 1 is negative square root of 5, 0, and focus 2 is square root of 5, 0. Now remember, we had some points that helped us graph this. Those points were 0, 2, and 0, negative 2, which would be right here and right here. Those 2 points, along with our vertices, help us form this box, which after we have a box, we can draw our asymptote lines right through the corners of our box and through the origin, since our hyperbola is centered at the origin. So we draw both our asymptote lines through those corners, and the equations of these lines are y equals 2x and y equals negative 2x. Then we draw our actual hyperbola, which are these solid black lines here, and we have our graph.